For many years, I've raised the question, do setting sprays actually work? Well, after years of testing different ones, I have the final answer. Some do, and some don't. I'm gonna go through some of the most viral ones on the internet. I have about 20 today. Some are iconic, some are more on the newer side, but are very, very popular, and share exactly what they do or don't do to hopefully lead you to the perfect setting spray for you and your needs. To kick this off, you've seen it everywhere online, with it being the #1 best-selling facial mist on Amazon. I think they've sold like 50 million of them, so we're starting off with a good one. Dalba First Spray Serum. And thank you to Dalba for sponsoring this portion of today's video. They have some other amazing Korean skincare products that I love for prepping the skin, hydration, many of which I've used and recommended on my channel for years now. But First Spray Serum, this is the most versatile in today's video. You're getting your bang for your buck here, because it's skincare as well as a setting spray. It can be used as a toner, a serum, a primer, setting spray, or booster. Mine's a little mixed up right now, but when you get it, there are 2 layers. The top is plant-derived oils, which include avocado oil, sunflower seed oil, soybean oil, Bixa orellana seed oil, which all work to help build hydration. And then the bottom is a truffle serum, which is a mix of white truffle and vitamin E, which is actually a patented ingredient by Dalba. Amazing for skin's elasticity and anti-aging properties. So to use it, make sure you shake it up and you spray. Make sure everything gets nice and mixed up in here. Now I'm happy to confirm this is a spray that actually does something. In fact, it can do a lot. I would say the major purpose of this is for glow and hydration. So I use this on bare skin for hydration and an overall glowy base layer. I also will use it in between makeup steps, like blending creams together. It makes that a lot easier. Melting in foundation, after powder or baking to melt those in. And then of course at the end for a true setting spray for that final glow. So with this one in particular, this is how you keep your skin looking glowy all day. But in terms of setting spray, this will melt powders in and add that celebrity glowy finish when you spray it all over the décolleté as well. So unlike water-based face sprays that dehydrate the skin over time, this golden blend of oil to serum locks in hydration and ensures your makeup stays dewy and glowy all day long. So this one is definitely the most versatile and unique in today's lineup. Also the glowiest. So if you are looking strictly for glow, I cannot recommend this one enough. I will have the link down below to pick this one up in the description box. Again, thank you Dalba for sponsoring this portion of the video. Let's continue on. I have about 19 more setting sprays to get into. I've decided to categorize them by their major claims and what they're supposed to do. So we have 3 different categories. 1 for hydration, 1 for glow, and 1 for longevity. Now, some of these are going to bridge a couple different categories based on their claims, so I grouped them in which I think is their best function, what they are the best at. Also, I know it's a little late to clarify this, but there's always somebody in the comments who loves to correct me. While the title is setting sprays, not all of these are actual setting sprays formulated to set makeup. Some of these are really made with the intention of maybe just spraying the skin, maybe just melting your powders in, not to actually set your makeup. It's just for keywords of what people are searching. Okay. I'm fully aware. So this first one I actually have as probably the most OG, the most iconic setting spray in today's video. It's the ever so classic MAC Fix Plus. Now the major claims to this is that it's hydrating, priming, refreshes, and sets makeup. Now semi-recently, they've changed the packaging to something a little bit more of a classic spray bottle like this. I mean, since I've known about this, it's gone through a lot of different packaging. It has that nostalgic scent still. Unfortunately for this type of product, it's very difficult to be able to demo. So you're really gonna have to trust me based on how many times I've used these products, which for so many of these, it's literally been for years. So this one is interesting. I like to use this to make my powders have a little bit more like glowiness to them, particularly when it comes to eyeshadows. I don't find that this does too much. If I'm being honest, I don't think that it hydrates really. It's more of a refresher spray if you ask me. If I'm looking a little bit powdery and I want to wet it down, I'll use this. But this for me, I mostly just like to use to wet my shadows. In terms of does it do something, it doesn't do much. So this to me isn't the best performing spray in today's video, unfortunately. I still always like to have it. I think it's a great refresher spray, and there are moments in which I will grab for this. I think because of its formulation, with it being alcohol free, I do like to use this to wet eyeshadows, to use eyeshadows as liner, to refresh my makeup if I just am feeling hot. If the powders are looking a little bit heavy, that's when I'll use this. But I don't notice it to be super hydrating by any means to the actual barrier of my skin. So I know it's an OG, but it's kind of an setting spray with how good setting sprays have gotten lately. I'm just being honest. Okay, we have one of the more expensive ones in today's video, and I'm not going in any particular order other than the grouping, by the way, that I did it. But this baby is $42. This is the Hourglass Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. Now this hydrates and smooths the appearance of skin. It's supposed to have a blurred finish and make the skin look radiant. Now, one of its major claims is not hydration, but that's kind of how I like to use it. It's a little bit weird in which category it fits in. This is fabulous for setting in powders without making you look dewy. I do believe the term radiant is a great explanation. It has a very fine mist, one of the finest mists you can have. This is perfect for you if you do not like the wet, heavy spray on the face. If you want a true mist that's not going to make you look oily or overly wet, you just want something that's going to soften the appearance of the skin, I think that this is beautiful. Again, I wouldn't say that it hydrates my skin barrier. It's not like a skincare style product, but I do feel like it makes the skin look slightly more radiant. If you have powders, it lessens the look of that dryness. But what I think is really special about this is, in an odd way, it does kind of blur the skin. It has that hourglass effect. I think it also is great to pair with their regular face powders. I do really like this setting spray. I don't think it's the most transformative. I think it's a really good one, but with the price point, I think there are more transformative setting sprays out there, but this is really beautiful at making the skin just look softer and a little bit more blurred. So it does what it says it's gonna do, but it is quite subtle, so keep that in mind. It doesn't make the skin feel very heavy or makeup look heavy. It's a good one, but it's not a great one. Next one that we have, you can tell how much I've used. I know it's a smaller size, but you can tell that I really like it. This is the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist Prime and Set Mist. I don't think this gets the hype that it deserves, so it's not really a viral product by any means, but I wanted to add it in considering Rare is a viral product and I really like the quality of this. So this is an ultra-fine glow boosting mist that hydrates, primes, sets, and refreshes skin. And the exact description that it gives, I think, is exactly what it does. I think this has a little bit more transformation power than, say, the Hourglass. It feels a little heavier on the skin, has a little bit of a stronger mist, but I do feel like this makes my skin feel more hydrating, which makes it great for applying to the skin to prep, as it claims. And really, when my skin looks dry from a lot of powders or just whenever I'm having a drier skin day, this does add that boost of moisture to the skin. So this one is really, really nice. If you're purely just looking for hydration, I recommend this one. And the final one that I have for the hydration category is from Morphe. I just have the giant packaging, but this is the Continuous Setting Mist. Now they say this sets liquid and powder makeup, enhancing its look and performance all day. This continuous air-powered spray provides a microfine, even controlled complexion application with a naturally radiant finish every time. So one of the standout factors here is going to be the spray. You can literally spray it for as long as you want, and it is very, very fine. This is gonna get the skin more wet than the Hourglass, but I think this works kind of similarly to the Hourglass. It's not quite as blurring as the Hourglass. I don't find this to help with longevity in makeup at all. I just find it to give the skin a refreshed and radiant look. So again, if the powders on my skin are looking dry, heavy, dull, cakey, I will use this just to kind of refresh my look for the day. I don't really use it to transform my makeup. It's just that step to get everything looking a lot more hydrated. And with the packaging of that makes this really special. So does this do much? Not really, but the packaging on this is just so phenomenal. So that sums it up for the hydration category. I have 6 in the next category, which is the glow category. So while the ones in the hydration do add a little bit of glow to the skin, these are the ones that have more heavy-duty claims. These glow ones can also hydrate the skin. I'll mention those that do, but I think their main function is really to add that glass-like wet glow on the skin. Now, what I'm looking for with these is that they don't feel too heavy on the skin, because that can actually make the wear time of your makeup much shorter. You can look a lot more greasy and oily much quicker. This is a category where I would say if you have oily skin, be careful, use some of these sparingly, because some of them can get a bit heavy, but let's talk about it. Starting off our glowy category, I'm doing the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. So this one is one of the more affordable ones in today's video. And this was a play on the super viral Dewy Primer from e.l.f. Now this one claims to make makeup dewy and long-lasting, which is an interesting mix and typically is not true. And if I'm being honest, I don't find that to be true with this one. This one, packaging wise, it has such a fine mist that it barely coats the face. I find that I have to spray like 30 times in order to be happy with the amount of product on my face. I don't love the smell of this. It's not too sticky on the skin considering it is in the Power Grip line. I like this better as a mister prior to makeup or in the middle of my makeup routine. I wouldn't really use this as a set because I don't find that this makes makeup last longer. I don't find that long-lasting claim to be true. It's just a little grippy, but barely enough to make any difference. Also, it claiming to be dewy, also not really true. There's so many more dewy setting sprays on the market, and a huge part of that has to do with the packaging that just inhibits it from being able to be glowy. So this is just not one that I recommend, unfortunately. I just don't find that it does anything. Now, the next one that I have has been popular for a while. It's kind of one of those icons, also on the more affordable side. Also, as you can see, well loved by me. This is the Pixie Glow Mist. Now, this one is very infused with a lot of different oils. It's supposed to give an all-over glow mist for an instant radiant dewy effect. Now, in terms of being able to make the skin look really, really glowy, this is actually one of the glowiest setting sprays in today's video, so it definitely does that. However, it is heavy. So that's my warning with this. I really don't recommend this for oily skin. It feels heavy on this skin and it can make the makeup feel heavy and it can reduce the longevity of makeup. So less is more with this product, which means you're gonna have less glow on the face. So if you want a lot of glow, you can spray a lot of this, but your makeup is going to be affected. It's going to feel heavy. So while this does excel in glow, it's heavy. It makes makeup not last as long. So that's kind of the caveat with that. But it still is really good. It's one of the glowiest ones. So when I do need some glow, I love this. I do not like this for setting in powders though. Too heavy, like I said. The next one that I have, we're going a little bit more expensive now, is from Peach and Lily. And this is one that I don't think has ever been considered like iconic by any means, but I really enjoy it. So I wanted to share it in today's video as an option. Now the claims of this is to calm, refresh, and hydrate for a radiant lasting glow on bare skin or with makeup. This is one of those sprays that I think is a really great skincare makeup hybrid. And I do find that this gives a glowy, glassy look to skin, especially on bare skin. I think it's great prior to makeup because it does hydrate the skin barrier as well. And I think it adds a lasting glowy effect. I'm gonna be so glowy. I'm just covering myself in these setting sprays. I can't help myself. But this one is probably, there's a couple that have really joined my collection recently and worked really well. Prior to some of these newer launches I'm about to name, this was one of my favorites for getting glassy skin, but I think where this excels in the most is almost a skincare and a primer setting spray. It doesn't set anything. It's just gonna leave the skin feeling really hydrated and give that Korean skin glass glow without feeling too heavy. So I think this is great to finish off makeup if you want to have a glass-like finish, because this does a good job of that. This is one of my favorites for giving a glass-like glow on the skin. There recently has been two really glowy ones that have launched recently that I am gonna sing my praises to. I've been talking about these a lot recently. So the first one, and I've used it quite a lot considering how new it is from One Size. This is the Powder Melt Glass Setting Spray. Skincare infused hydrating setting spray that seamlessly melts powder layers for a radiant glass-like finish that lasts all day. Lasts all day is a bit of a stretch. This by no means helps makeup last longer. However, this is another great product that does leave a really glowy look to the skin without feeling too heavy. And this is formulated to melt the powders together, and I really feel like it does a good job of that. So you guys know I have had very dry skin from traveling, from being pregnant. So this is a setting spray that I have relied on heavily to get my makeup to just look better, because my skin needed that extra shot of hydration. So I really enjoyed this. It hydrates without feeling too heavy, so this is great. I wouldn't trust it as my only skincare. It's not heavy enough to be skincare, but it's a great addition while doing makeup in between layers. So really, really good. Now this is the newest setting spray, I would say, to my collection, and it is quite effective. I'm quite impressed with it so far. It hasn't quite made it through the full testing period to even be featured in its speed reviews, so do keep that in mind that I'm still in the middle of testing, but I wanted to give it a mention because it is new and I think it's quite effective thus far. It's from Pat McGrath. It's the Glass 001 Legendary Glow Setting Spray. Now, they also are launching a long-lasting one, but this one is so nice. A buildable dewy setting spray that keeps skin hydrated and makeup color true and locked in place for up to 16 hours. And you guys know Pat McGrath is known for her iconic glass look, and this is kind of the product that stemmed from that initial viral moment. It does remind me a lot of the finish that I get from Peach and Lily, while even being more fine and more lightweight on the skin. I would say less skincare focused than the Peach and Lily, but it really does refresh the makeup. Not that this makes a difference, but I love this spray. It adds a subtle glow. It just makes my makeup and my face look much more healthy. So from what I've tried so far, the handful of times that I've used it, it seems to be really effective, and I would say it does do what it claims, and it has been a great refresher for my skin throughout the day. So I'm enjoying this one a lot. Now, the last one that I have in the glow category that is actually also one of the most iconic for multiple reasons in the lineup here, it's the iconic London Prep Set and Glow Hydrating Glowy Setting Spray. This has been around for a long time. It was one of the kind of original OG glowy setting spray, and let me show you why. You definitely gotta shake it up before use, but this is what was viral back in like 2018. So this is a glowy setting spray with skincare benefits that preps, hydrates, and illuminates the skin while fixing makeup with a soft focus natural finish. I mean, this is like infused with highlighting powder basically, and I've liked this a lot throughout the years. I do find it leaves a nice glow on this skin. However, I do feel like it's lost its luster throughout the years because, like I've said, the setting sprays that have come out recently have been so good. So this one just doesn't stand out quite as much anymore because this was popular in a time where the heavy duty long-lasting mattifying setting sprays were in, But now glowy setting sprays are in, and this one just isn't cutting it. It's just not as good anymore. I don't really recommend it as much as I recommend some of the ones I just previously mentioned. They have these all the time in the Sephora favorites kits, just the little travel sizes. Like, I like to keep the travel size to travel with because it does add glow, it does add hydration, but it's just not as good as others. So does it work or does it not? It does, but not super effectively anymore. So that's where I stand with this. I do love the way that it smells. It's leaving a little bit of a sticky residue on the back of my hand, but that residue is actually kind of hydrating throughout the day. But again, you know, when comparing it with now what exists is the One Size, the Peach and Lily, the Pat McGrath, this just doesn't quite do it because this is like a literal glow versus the glass glow that's in right now, which the other products offer. Now, the final and largest category that I have are long-lasting setting sprays. These ones are truly setting sprays, meant to set the makeup, meant to make the makeup last a long time. I do actually have demos for these. I have sprayed each of these swatches with a different setting spray, and at the end of this segment, I don't even know how it's gonna go. We're gonna see which one lasts the longest. But let's just get into the drugstore ones. So, well, we'll first start off actually with the two I don't have. So first is the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist Spray. I'm adding this in because it's so viral right now. I don't have it for a reason. I absolutely hate this setting spray. It is potent. The scent of this is so strong, and it actually is not good to set makeup. I find that my makeup peels off with this. Now, this one you can truly only apply it as the very last step in your routine. If you apply it and say you have to retouch your eyeliner, I find that it removes whatever was underneath when I put the eyeliner on top. So this is one of the worst setting sprays I've ever used. Now, if you use it as the actual true final part of your makeup routine, I do think it does help makeup last longer, but at what cost? The One Size setting spray, which I'll mention at the end, is the better version of this. I just cannot stand how this literally messes up the makeup. So it is actually one of the worst setting sprays, if you ask me. It is unusable and it stinks terribly. They say that this setting spray is transfer, sweat resistant, and feels lightweight. It does because it's so heavy duty, but again, it ruins makeup, so what's the point? So that one is a no for me. Another one that I don't have with me at the moment is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Blurring Setting Spray, and I think it's a unanimous decision that this is just not a good setting spray. Now, this one had faulty packaging. The premise of this is it's setting spray infused with powder. So the powder is also supposed to set the makeup. So I think the concept of it is great, but the execution, it just didn't work out because it would spray out clumps of spray, which would actually remove my makeup and make my makeup patchy. So again, it's just an unusable setting spray, hence why I don't have it. They say it blurs pores, controls shine, and locks makeup for 16 hours. It just didn't work. I did hear that she is fixing the packaging, but she already made so many sales. I purchased this with my own money, and the packaging, I guess, was broken, and it didn't work. So that's the review I'm sticking with and why I don't currently have it in my possession. I might have it laying around somewhere, but it's so unimportant and not good. I didn't even put it with my setting sprays. So now let's get into the ones that I have, the ones that will be included in the swatch test. We're starting off with this guy right here from NYX. This is a viral one. This is the Face Glue Gripping Setting Spray. I'm not a fan of this one because it is quite sticky. So here are the claims to this. Locks in makeup for 24 hours, waterproof, transfer and fade resistant, boost color, no sticky finish. So the thing with this is you're supposed to use it after setting your full face of makeup. However, this is sticky. I do find that if you want the stickiness, this would work better before applying makeup, but it is so sticky that it makes makeup a little bit patchy. This does help makeup last longer. The makeup absolutely does grip to this. However, it's too sticky. I don't like the consistency of this. There are so many good, effective, long wear setting sprays, so I just don't like this one. It's too sticky. I'm somebody, if you can see, I just have a lot of baby hairs. my hair will stick to my face when I use that, so it's just not cute. I do not like that one. I do not recommend that one. A really good one from the drugstore is Milani. This is the Make It Last Natural Finish Setting Spray. This hydrates and sets your look with a natural finish. It is not a drying, I would say, setting spray. It's not hydrating by any means. You want hydrating, go to that hydrating category that I mentioned. But this is a really good lightweight one from the drugstore that does help makeup last longer. It's not the most intense, long-lasting setting spray, but I think it's really good, really wearable. It's not offensive to apply, so not the strongest hold, but definitely is effective. Okay, so this one, we have a little bit of drama here. I'm just gonna mention both. We have this Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Setting Spray and the All Nighter. So these two are the same thing. However, Urban Decay has recently broken up their partnership with Skindinavia, so they have a new version. I haven't tried the new version yet, so I'm gonna stick with these kind of as one, being the same thing, because as you can see, Urban Decay by Skindinavia, these are the same formula. But if you were to buy this right now, from the store, it's going to be a different formula. This Skindinavia setting spray makes the makeup water resistant, locks in your look for up to 16 hours, helps protect against moisture loss, making it a must-have for dry or dehydrated skin. I use this in my makeup kit for brides because it truly does make the makeup last longer. It's one of the OGs, minus Ben Nye, which is truly an OG. I don't have that one. I've never tried that one. But this really does make the makeup last longer. And this one, the original formula, does as well from Urban Decay. It just is easier to get a hold of because you can purchase this at Sephora. Skindinavia was a little bit harder to get a hold of, but I cannot speak for the new formulation. But these are kind of the OG and the long-lasting setting sprays that I use and still trust today. I think they're a little bit more effective than the Milani Make It Last that I just previously mentioned. They truly are kind of the best in the game. But reminder, I cannot speak of the new formulation of the Urban Decay, but let's keep it going. So this is a fairly new one here from Fenty. This is the You Mist Makeup Extending Setting Spray. Claims to this super fine mist fueled by Invisiflex Shield, an undetectable veil to protect against environmental issues that sets makeup and extends wear. If you ask me, the main true purpose of this is to extend the wear of makeup, which it does a very, very good job at. I do find this extremely effective in longevity. I do find it can be a little bit drying on my drying skin, so just be careful with that. It's not as long lasting as my all-time favorite setting spray. However, it's just about kind of where the OG all-nighter is, maybe just a little bit under, but this really does work very well for makeup extending, and that's kind of its one and only job that it does, and it does well. No frills to this really. It's a nice long-lasting setting spray. The next one that I have, this is kind of a hybrid of a couple different setting sprays if you ask me. This is from Makeup by Mario. It's the Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray. So this one is nice because it's alcohol-free, fragrance-free, butane-free, ultra-fine hydrating mist to set makeup for 16 hours for a natural finish and barely there feel. So this one is a lighter weight setting spray that works for longevity. It reminds me a lot of the Hourglass Soft Focus Veil in that I feel like this makes my makeup look better. I feel like it slightly blurs the skin and leaves a natural finish, but it does also extend wear. It's not as long lasting as the Fenty. Like the Fenty, it says it's going to make the makeup last, it makes the makeup last. This one, that is a feature of this. It does extend wear, but not nearly as hardcore as some of the others. But I really like this because of the fine mist, because of the fragrance free, and because it actually makes my makeup look a little bit healthier, a little bit brighter, while also knowing it will make my makeup last longer, which is pretty rare that it kind of has that multi-purpose function here. But this is really good. I like this one as well. It's a little bit more subtle, more lightweight than the others. Now this one is my favorite in today's video. This is my most used. I have gone through so many of these. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Hydrating and Waterproof Setting Spray. This does the dang thing. It is bulletproof. The description online is a lightweight waterproof setting spray to prime and set your makeup for up to 16 hours without melting, fading, or settling into the lines. Now the reason that this is my favorite is because it really has a strong hold on your makeup. It makes makeup last lasts a long time, but I feel like it also blurs the skin. Whenever I use this, my makeup just looks better, and I can't quite pinpoint why that is, but it makes the makeup look better while also making the makeup waterproof and last a long time. It's like the Makeup by Mario, but even better. That's how I've been describing the Makeup by Mario. I know I like it because it reminds me of my Charlotte Tilbury. However, Charlotte Tilbury is more effective. Now, the con to Charlotte Tilbury is the packaging breaks all the time because it is like almost a stickier consistency. It doesn't feel sticky on the face, but it dries a little sticky. This always gets stuck, or maybe the nozzle gets blocked. So that's the only annoying thing about this is the packaging. I have one right now where I've pressed so hard trying to get the spray out. It like completely broke it, but we have perfectly good spray in here. So that's my only con, but I love this. This is my all-time favorite long-lasting setting spray in today's video. It is my event setting spray, so I recommend this one the most. I love it so, so, so much, which we're going to finish off with the strongest setting spray in today's video. This is from One Size. This is the Until Done Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. This had a viral moment because Beyonce was performing and it was raining, but her makeup didn't budge, and the makeup artist came out and said they used this setting spray, and from that moment on, it's been a favorite for so many. I would really only recommend this for oily skin. I do find that it dries my skin out as somebody with more dry skin. The claims on this, a spray with a 16-hour waterproof matte finish, which is why I think it dries my skin out, in a transfer-proof formula, oil absorbing, witch hazel. Yeah. This is like a hairspray for the face, so the application of this is a little bit intense. So I'm warning you now, do not breathe when applying this. Spray it and don't breathe because it's like a hairspray for the face, but that is what makes it so heavy duty. So I will use this for truly heavy duty days. Like if it's literally gonna rain, I'll spray my face with that. But I try to use it sparingly and only on occasion because she's potent. She's a hairspray. She's what the L'Oreal 3-second infallible setting spray wished she was. So this, if you have oily skin, you're going to love this so long as the application doesn't bother you. But it bothers me. I'm not even sure how this is going to turn out. I've just been speaking from my experiences, but each of these swatches is sprayed with a different setting spray. So I have the NYX The Face Glue, Milani Make It Last, Skindinavia, Urban Decay, Fenty Beauty, Makeup by Mario, Charlotte Tilbury, and One Size. Just in the order that I spoke about, they have all completely dried. I'm curious which one lasts the longest. Let's see. Okay, so these are all really good. I would say maybe Urban Decay might be fading a little bit sooner, and the Fenty Beauty, but see, this NYX holds on really, really well, but I do find it gets patchy the more you rub it. But it is probably is the strongest holding, which is interesting. Oh my gosh, you know what? The Skindinavia and Urban Decay might be fading the soonest, which is crazy because it's been like one of my most trusted, but it's just not holding on to the rubbing. That's crazy. I still stand by what I said, but oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna do a bit of a harder test. I have a literal makeup remover. Let's see. This Makeup by Mario is holding up really good, actually. With the makeup remover, look. The Makeup by Mario, which I said doesn't have as good as a hold, do you see that? How it is sticking out the most? Interesting, very, very interesting. But there we have it, you guys. I've tried pretty much every setting spray out there on the market, and these are my thoughts. These are the ones that I recommend, the ones that I think do something, the ones that I think don't do anything, and I hope that this video helped lead you to the setting spray that is the best fit for you. I hope I could help break it down for you. And again, a huge thank you to Dalba for sponsoring today's video. If you want to check out their first spray serum, I will, as always, have this linked in the description box for you to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Comment down below, what is your favorite setting spray? What actually works? And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. It's delicious.